Okay, we're good.
Hello, and thank you everyone for joining me today. I would like to present you the eulogy of Chris Padilla. My name is Jasmine Padilla. I am his sister. It has been 6 years since I first given you a speech similar to this one, so bear with me as we reminisce. Like I just said, nearly 6 years ago, we said our final goodbyes to Chris Padilla, the boy who was loved and cherished by everyone. Being the family favorite was an understatement. This boy was spoiled rotten since the day he was born. It is this reason I do not understand why I am here today giving you this speech. Let me begin by saying it is an honor to be here this evening, giving you guys an exact presentation of Chris Padilla's life. And I am thrilled to share some of my most cherished and loved memories of him. Today we get the opportunity to look over his past 20 years from childhood to adulthood. So let's take this moment to honor Chris. Describing Chris is easy. Chris tried to be so cool, but underneath he was one big dork. He had many blonde moments and zero cat-like reflexes. Chris was a jokester, not because he was so funny, but because many times the jokes were on him, and he'd be very, very, very upset over that. But it was Chris's sensitive side that no one really got to see. That really stood out to me. When I moved here to Baghdad, I got to see this other side of Chris. I was in a situation where life got hard on me. And if it wasn't for Chris, I would have never survived. He opened up to me. He was vulnerable. He showed me that he really truly cared about me. And it was this once in a lifetime moment that I will cherish the most. But the most admirable and my personal favorite moment is the way he cherished and loved children. Most guys are not good with kids. They back away, they don't know how to act. But Chris did. Since he was little, he knew how to interact with kids. He had an instant natural love and bond with most children, especially family members. He had a sparkle in his eyes when he seen my niece, when he saw my cousins. And he played well with them. It is those reasons why I often daydream on how he would interact with my children and his own. Let's take a look at his childhood. Chris was the kid who had everything. With that being said, we know he enjoyed most was getting the newest clothes, the coolest toys, the most trending electronics, and just the greatest gear in general. He loved to play soccer with his brothers and sisters. He enjoyed riding bikes, but he hated to give me peg rides. I had to put that in there because he never once gave me a voluntary peg ride. It was always because my mom made him. He loved doing stuff like fishing and hunting, camping, all the manly boy stuff. But it's the baking, playing Barbies, and playing dress up that no one really knows about that I know he really enjoyed. He would do anything for his little sisters. Chris's childhood wasn't always picture perfect. At the age of 13, he almost died. He was diagnosed with pancreatitis, and he spent 1 month out of school and 1 month in pain. Maybe even more. I was only in 6th grade, so my memory is a little bit jogged up in that area. And because I was so young, I did not realize that he was on his deathbed. But he ended up getting surgery, and he conquered the pancreatitis. If he had died in that moment, I would not be here today. I would not know my brother as well as I do today. It would be someone else up here giving the speech 6 years ago. I'm grateful for the rest of his life that he had with us, getting to know him. Chris's adulthood. We all know what Chris enjoyed doing. Smoking, drinking, busting missions. That was Chris. He was known for cruising his yellow Monte Carlo, jamming music as loud as possible, preferably Lil Wayne. But in Chris's last year of his adulthood, he managed to accomplish a few goals. One of them being he graduated from high school. For about 3 years straight, he'd never thought that he'd graduate. He kept saying over and over, I can't do it, I can't do it. Then he moved here to Baghdad. He put all the partying and stuff on hold when it came to school. He started focusing. He went from having straight D's and F's, a little bit of C's, to having nearly straight A's and B's. By his senior year, he had straight A's. He also accomplished getting his first car, buying his first car, getting his first job, and paying his first bills. A couple things none of us really saw, but no. We knew he could do it. He didn't know he could do it, but he did it. My favorite adult memories of him consist of 2 separate events. One of them being the last summer we had together. We traveled to Safford in his yellow Monte Carlo. We went and visited all our friends and family. We stayed up all night making salsa, playing games, hanging out. We played with the kids, we hung out with our mom. We did all the things we love and cherish most. All the things that we had missed for the past 3 years being in Baghdad. We had fun like the old times. It was seriously the best summer I've ever had, and him too. But on our way home, something inside of me began to grow. I knew this was the last summer being with him. And it is because that halfway through the journey home, I cried most of it. Chris didn't notice, but something inside me told me he would be dying soon. He would pass away on us. He would be leaving us. He would be leaving me. It is weird how I knew that beforehand, and I wish I would have said something then, but my second favorite memory was the time when I last seen him. The last time I seen him, it was 2 days after his 20th birthday. We ran up to each other, gave each other hugs, said how are we doing, and of course the first question that pops up, hey sis, do you have any money? Of course I had to lie to him, and I told him no. I showed him my wallet. I said, look, there's nothing here but $50. He starts laughing. He pulls out his wallet. He opens it. He said, look, there's nothing here but $50. I'm like, where'd you get yours? And he's like, I don't remember. And he's like, where'd you get yours? I'm like, I have no idea. It just showed up here. When we start laughing, we're like, wow, what a trip. And I felt like we both knew at that moment that $50 that we each had
Were you big?
meant something to us.
Were you big?
Yes.
Like overall?
Yes. This $50 represented our relationship to a T. No matter where we go, no matter who we become, how hard life gets, we will always find each other. We are each other's other halves. That $50 meant a lot to both of us. To sum up, I'm grateful for this opportunity because in this moment we have honored Chris's life. Overall, within Chris's 20 years and 8 days on this earth, he managed to impact all our lives. His smile defines who he was on the outside and the inside. His childhood was an enjoyable, once-in-a-lifetime experience. Unfortunately, his adulthood never really existed. Once again, friends and family, Chris was the boy who was loved by many, but was too blind to see. If I could say one last message to him, it would be thank you. His death was the best thing that happened to me, my life, my children's life, and everything in between.
That it's hot.